away. In short, this is what I have to say. Let us forget spites and grudges and concentrate. Come, let us sit and try to relate. Because now, more than ever, we must show discipline, tolerance, and production to build a strong and better nation. I say that is the main foundation. So come, let us work hand in hand, because this is our land. Come, my brother, come, my sister, and let us build a nation together. Oh, yeah,
Come, my brother, come, my sister, and let us build a nation together. Grenada, Carriacou, and PT Martinique need us now more than ever before. And we have a duty to build this place, to develop this place, to transform this place we call home. We know that if your neighbor, your friend, you start something and others join in, you would finish faster. So we have to rebuild Carriacou. We have to rebuild PT Martinique. We have to rebuild St. Patrick and St. Mark. And throughout Grenada, as I said last night, the farmers, they were directly impacted and affected by this hurricane. So though they did not lose their home or their roof did not go or blow out, they lost a lot on their farm or in the garden, as we would say, or land. So I was really happy when I heard the Honorable Lennox Andrews speak about assistance, aid that would come their way. And it was just a matter of time. I want to start off by encouraging you, once you're able-bodied.
Implementation and Transformation is undertaking a national cleanup drive in Carriacou and PT Martinique on Saturday, July 13th and Sunday, July 14th, 2024. To register, interested persons are urged to contact Ms. Yvonne Gibbs at 415-0573. Volunteers must be 18 years and older and able-bodied, since many will be required to operate chainsaws and undertake heavy lifting. The Osprey leaves at 6 a.m. on both days, so volunteers must be assembled at 5 a.m. for departure. Relief continues, but the cleanup is critical to start the rebuilding process. Carriacou and PT Martinique will rise again.
Yes, so remember, the boat leaves at 6, but you need to be there before 6 a.m. Saturday and Sunday. That's tomorrow and Sunday. So again, volunteers are needed for that cleanup drive in Carriacou and PT Martinique. And you're encouraged, once you could make it, to please be a part of the team. I want to say that Grenada, Carriacou, and PT Martinique continue to receive assistance from so many organizations, so many governments, so many individuals. They are coming forward to help. And we must be grateful. We must be grateful for that. Grenlec, they have seen support from St. Lucia. So St. Lucia, thank you. There is a team in Grenada assisting Grenlec to restore electricity in many areas throughout the island.
Grenlec just wants to welcome Team Lucelec to assist us once again. Lucelec assisted us back in 2004. In fact, we have a team member here who is returning to Grenada. Ricky is returning. He was here in 2004 and assisted us very well. And Lucelec is back again to assist us in 2024. So we thank Lucelec for their assistance again. And this is the spirit that we have within the Carolec community, where we help each other in time of need.
We are in Grenada right now to assist in line construction after Hurricane Beryl. My team consists of myself and 5 other linemen. 3 guys from our contractors and the other 2 linemen from Lucelec itself. I'm fully confident with the team that I have there. We at Lucelec have maintained a reputation overseas in hurricane restoration work. And I am expecting that the same will happen this time. And we are trying to produce as much as possible and try to restore supply to as much community as possible. This is our main aim, to just restore supply and to have customers being powered up.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Lucelec, the folks from St. Lucia. They are here on island to assist. And I'm certain they will go to Carriacou too. Or what may happen, the folks from Grenlec, because they're in Carriacou and they're stretched. So they're up in Carriacou, the locals, right, who work with Grenlec, they're doing the work in Carriacou. And then Lucelec, those from St. Lucia, they would join with the others on mainland Grenada to do some work and try to restore electricity in as many communities as possible. So again, I think this is good, and we must applaud Grenlec and applaud the Lucelec team for coming to our aid. NIS, they have given a commitment, and they're fulfilling that.
Insurance scheme will honor its commitment to pay unemployment benefit claims for 3 months to eligible registered employees and self-employed persons who have been displaced from their jobs as a result of Hurricane Beryl. Public Relations Officer Lisa Douglas told the Government Information Service that the unemployment benefit, which was launched in May of 2023, is designed to ease the burden of qualified affected members of the scheme.
You've lost your job, you're now unemployed. We're here to provide support. Once you were registered and contributing, you are guaranteed, once you meet the qualifying conditions, that the NIS unemployment benefit, it will be paid to you. Now, the benefit claim is submitted through our web portal, my.nisgrenada.org. But anybody who is having issues, because we know right now everybody doesn't have a telephone connection, internet connection, etc. So we're asking persons, whatever way you can communicate with us to get information, to get assistance, please do so. So we have some contact numbers, our landline 440-3309. We also have WhatsApp. So we have 458-6060 or 456-4144. You can send us a message or get somebody to send a message on your behalf so that you can get whatever assistance that you require. And of course, our offices in St. George, our main office, and our sub-office in Grenville is up and running. Carriacou, as you know, is still down. But we are here at our main office and our other sub-office and via WhatsApp and social media also to provide support.
Ms. Douglas speaks to the percentage of contributions that will be paid to the eligible members.
The unemployment benefit is paid at a rate of 50% of one's insurable earnings or salary. So whatever you are contributing as a self-employed person, you will receive 50% of that amount, and also as an employee. Now, the benefit will be paid up to a period of 3 months.
Affected individuals who require assistance with submitting claims or need to make an inquiry can contact the NIS on telephone number 440-3309.
That's a very good move by the NIS. And we want to encourage all the people who have lost their employment or, not working, not working due to the passage of the hurricane, to please make your claim, because you have 3 months of support coming your way. Again, we are not just waiting on folks to come from outside to volunteer. We have our people here, young people, middle-aged people, elderly people volunteering, which is really great, and I love that.
I'm from Theba St. David. I wasn't really called in to volunteer. It's something that's always been kind of like a part of me. Even when I was like 6 years and Ivan Pass, I have memories of helping joke boxes and so on like that. So especially knowing that our sister island was very damaged, myself having family and so on over there, I don't think my conscience would have allowed me to, stay home knowing that persons need help and there's a lot of things that I could possibly do. So all of that was just some of the reasons why I decided to, come down to NADMA and give any assistance possible. My appeal, my call to persons, even though you may not be personally affected, you may not even know the persons that were affected or damaged by, Hurricane Beryl in this case, it's still a good idea to come out and help, give your support, because today might be them, tomorrow might be me, tomorrow might be you. So because of that, anything possible, even if it's just donating something if you can't physically come down, but volunteering should always be part of all of us. And kind of like a part of me. Even when I was like 6 years and Ivan Pass, I have memories of helping joke boxes and so on like that. So especially knowing that our sister island was very damaged, myself having family and so on over there, I don't think my conscience would have allowed me to, stay home knowing that persons need help and there's a lot of things that I could possibly do. So all of that was just some of the reasons why I decided to, come down to NADMA and give any assistance possible. My appeal, my call to persons, even though you may not be personally affected, you may not even know the persons that were affected or damaged by, Hurricane Beryl in this case, it's still a good idea to come out and help, give your support, because today might be them, tomorrow might be me, tomorrow might be you. So because of that, anything possible, even if it's just donating something if you can't physically come down, but volunteering should always be part of all of us.
Yes, that's a very powerful statement from that young man there. And again, we encourage you to volunteer. They're calling for more volunteers for relief efforts in Carriacou and PT Martinique. They're calling for volunteers to clean up, to be involved, because we need to help the people of Carriacou, PT Martinique, St. Patrick, and St. Mark. I spoke to you earlier about the reassurance to the farmers. Let me just play that.
For Agriculture and Lands, Forestry and Marine Resources, Honorable Lennox Andrews is reassuring farmers that government, with support from regional and international partners, will help them back on their feet as it pushes ahead with its food security agenda. Based on preliminary information, the agriculture sector took the hardest blow from the hurricane, with over 80% of farms and farmers affected. Minister Andrews also encourages farmers to not lose hope despite the challenges in the wake of Hurricane Beryl.
I want to stress the need for them to remain calm and to be at ease. I've been experienced in the business of farming. They are aware that from time to time, on an annual basis, we are likely to be impacted negatively by severe weather conditions. So I know it's something that our farmers are not unfamiliar with, and in fact have developed the ability to cope with it over the years. We, from the ministry point of view, or from the ministry end, we are in fact very much on board with what our farmers have been through with the passage of the last hurricane. We are working now towards providing the necessary support to them. The support will take two different forms. There will first be the relief measures and the relief actions that we are going to take to remove some of the immediate pressures on you. And then there will be those measures that are geared towards the rebuilding of the industry itself. So the relief measures have to do with the clearing of the fallen trees so that you can have easy access to your farms, so that you can gather and collect whatever useful products that you have. That is ongoing. And so I am asking the farmers to continue to remain strong. Help is on its way. It's coming in a big way, but we want it to be organized, and we want it to be planned, and we want it to be such that it is geared towards improving on what we have been doing in the past.
Minister Andrews also appealed to farmers to adopt climate-smart resilience strategies in their agricultural engagement, as this would be the best approach in safeguarding their livelihood. The Minister of Agriculture and Lands, Forestry and Marine Resources earlier this year partnered with a number of value chain stakeholders in conducting a series of training in climate-smart resilience practices. This, Minister Andrews reiterated, is key to the long-term sustainability of the sector.
I think right now, where technology is and where the world is, we know how to farm to protect ourselves from hurricanes. We call that climate smart agriculture. And going forward, as part of our rebuilding, we want to introduce, as far as possible, the techniques and the technology involved in climate smart agriculture, so as to protect our farmers, to protect our farms from the vagaries of the uncertainties of the weather as experienced over the last few weeks. And therefore, I'm asking all of our farmers to be alert. As they say, you have to hold on still, because we are coming, and we want to come good, and we want to come better than what we were doing before.
Yes, and I traveled to St. Andrew yesterday, and I spoke to a farmer, and he said they came on my farm and they assessed the damage, and he was really happy with the swiftness that he saw. They came really quickly to assess, and I think other farmers can see the same. They're evaluating, they're assessing, and help will come. Help will come your way. Hold the strain, stay focused. All right? All right. Let us continue to highlight some of the good things that are happening at this point in time. The field hospital now functional in Carriacou.
Perth Field Hospital is now up and functional in Carriacou after 5 days of intense work by the team led by Medical Director Bruce Nestle. The team consists of 30 medical staff, most of whom are volunteering their time to the cause. Dr. Nestle says it's important to have the hospital functioning since the main medical facility was severely damaged during the passage of Hurricane Beryl.
Transportation of our hospital has been a challenge, but we're happy that we've been started seeing patients yesterday, and that's been going really well. Some of the things that we're seeing right now is issues related to diabetes. There's insulin issues that we're trying and able to meet. We're also seeing some wounds that were probably occurred during the hurricane itself that maybe weren't treated properly, so we're dealing with some infection and things like that. So and just other injuries and general health concerns, heart and general health issues that you might expect or you might normally go to your general doctor for.
The hospital is equipped to treat those who sustained injuries during and after the passage of Beryl, as well as patients with diabetes and heart disease and other medical conditions.
We also are offering, we have 2 patient wards. The hospital here, as you know, was badly damaged. And so we are able to provide overnight inpatient services for both males and females. We have 10 beds each in those wards. So we're providing 24-hour service for patients that they might need. Until they have a place to keep patients overnight, we'll be here to serve as long as they need us. And when they tell us it's time to go home, or when we sense that we're really no longer needed, we'll take our chance to go home.
Samaritan's Purse is a non-denominational evangelical Christian organization providing humanitarian services for the past 54 years to meet the needs of people who are victims of war, poverty, disease, and natural disasters worldwide.
Thank you very much, Samaritan Post. Thank you very much there. We appreciate you. We thank you. So quite a number of good things continue to take place here, and we are grateful for that.
In Carriacou and Petite Martinique, a contingent of soldiers from the Antigua and Barbuda Defense Force under the auspices of the RSS. We also have 8 soldiers from the Defense Force of Guyana. These 8 soldiers form part of an advanced team that is there to assess the state of buildings in Carriacou and to provide support with the relief and distribution of food and other supplies. We expect additional soldiers from Guyana to come up, we hope, by the end of the week. The initial task will be to assist us with identifying large buildings, whether they be privately owned or publicly owned, that can be repaired temporarily to ensure that we have additional accommodation for relief workers and for citizens of Carriacou and Petite Martinique. We need to appreciate this is the start of the hurricane season, and therefore simple things like rainfall is going to cause considerable inconvenience to the citizens there. And we need to ensure that we have at least temporary accommodation that many of them can use should we find ourselves in a situation with prolonged rainfall, or for that matter, prolonged heat. And so the idea here is to make sure that we can identify these large centers, whether they be schools, churches, or other private residences that we can temporarily fix, so that we know we have a place of shelter for citizens of Carriacou and Petite Martinique if necessary, and for persons who are coming to do relief work. We will start this process immediately. It will be a combination of private contractors in Carriacou, contractors from Grenada who have gone up to help, as well as reliance on the soldiers who are currently in Carriacou and the soldiers who are to come. The government will spare no resources in ensuring this effort takes place, because we want to ensure as we prepare for the coming months ahead in this hurricane season, that should we face another weather system, that there is the opportunity for citizens in Carriacou and Petite Martinique to find shelter.
Right, so again, just saying that's a good way to do things. All right, so all right, just seeing here, quite a number of good things are happening. So let us play this piece.
Honorable Deacon Mitchell says the government of Grenada will oversee rebuilding efforts in the wake of Hurricane Beryl to ensure infrastructure is more resilient to withstand disasters. During a press conference on Tuesday, Prime Minister Mitchell said Cabinet is liaising with regional and international agencies like the World Bank, IMF, and CDB to get assistance in the rebuilding and recovery process. Hurricane Beryl ravaged Carriacou and Petite Martinique, with damage to a lesser extent on the mainland.
We cannot repair and build new or repair old buildings without ensuring that we comply with strict building codes that allows us to minimize losses arising from these hurricanes. We also need to appreciate that the hurricanes are not going away. All indications are that they will become stronger and that they will become more frequent. And as we can see, there is a real risk of them happening even earlier in the hurricane season. So part of our financing and recovery efforts must focus on ensuring that we build resilient infrastructure and that we build resilient homes and other buildings to withstand not just hurricanes, but all of the other challenges that we face in this part of the world.
Prime Minister Mitchell assured that the government is contemplating fiscal incentives to aid families in their rebuilding efforts.
We will not tolerate persons who are not impacted by this gaming the system or scheming or taking advantage of any fiscal incentives that the government will announce.
Additionally, he said Grenada is expecting payout from the Caribbean Catastrophe Risk Insurance Facility toward rebuilding after Hurricane Beryl. The facility is designed to limit the financial impact of catastrophic hurricanes and earthquakes on the Caribbean governments through short-term liquidity when a policy is triggered. CCRIF was developed through funding from the Japanese government and capitalized through contributions to a multi-donor trust fund by the government of Canada, the European Union, the World Bank, the governments of the UK and France, the Caribbean Development Bank, and the governments of Ireland and Bermuda, as well as through membership fees paid by participating governments.
Right. So again, it's a good thing, a very good thing, if you ask me. So $118 million, right? The government received, commitment of that, and the others. Zilly, I am on my program. All right. So again, it's positive news. It's good news. It is good news. Good news there. All right.
Is reporting success in the setup of a structured system to improve the distribution of aid throughout Carriacou and Petite Martinique. Via telephone on Monday, MP Redhead said over the past few days, his team, with assistance from the Honorable Tevin Andrews, Minister for Carriacou and Petite Martinique Affairs and Local Government, worked tirelessly to put the structure system in place. This, he says, was necessary to ensure smooth management and distribution of relief supplies.
It is working well now. It is 100% completed in terms of the setup and the arrangement required to be able to man the operation there to put out or deliver the aid. One of the most important things that we wanted was to coordinate the distribution so that we are not being cumbersome in terms of how, or imbalanced more so in terms of where the aid is going. It is still a work in progress because we're still trying to sort that out. But ultimately, we have been in a position now where aid is going out as soon as it comes in, that sort of thing, because we now have people to package and distribute. The most important thing is to ensure now that the people who need the aid are getting it. So we're in the process of working out the mass communication system to go throughout the communities to say when the aid trucks are going to pass and to say where they are going to be. So at least people could begin to make themselves available. And those who are unable to walk to the food truck, so to speak, we are in the process to see how we could get men on the ground to ensure that we go to them, get the information, and then subsequently get aid back to them.
MP Redhead says essentially the team is very satisfied with the outcome of their hard work, though challenging circumstances prevail and there is a need for more hands on deck.
We are pleased to report that the issue of the distribution has somewhat been solved, and we are hopeful that as the days go by, things will only continue to get better. Now, on the other hand, we still have challenges in many other areas, and the most important thing now is the rebuilding, the reconstruction that is required to bring us not to some semblance of normalcy, but order, just to ensure that Carriacou and Petite Martinique things could kind of function as it stands now, notwithstanding the aftermath of the devastation from Hurricane Beryl.
He says one of the major priorities is to get the debris off the streets and from the neighborhoods into one central location, as the present site of the debris from the destruction caused by Hurricane Beryl is depressing to residents.
That's very good. Things are falling into place. Things are falling into place. So they have to keep doing what they're doing and stick at it. Stick at it.
Passport Office has confirmed that printing of passports with a 10-year lifespan has begun. The government of Grenada recently amended the passport bill, giving the Grenadian passport a validity of 10 years to individuals 18 and over. Head of the Immigration and Passport Office, Assistant Superintendent of Police, ASP Elian Purcell, updated the GIS on Monday. The department, he says, began receiving applications last week. He provided details on what's currently happening at the Passport Office.
Today we have started actually printing the passport that are valid for an extended 10-year period. However, we started taking applications from last week. We have extended the waiting period for that passport by 5 days. So it's 5 business days for that particular, because of the volume of the intake. And we were not able to process due to the hurricane. And we had a delay as well because of the hurricane in actually deploying the upgraded software to be able to process the passport. So today we have worked along with the developers of the system, and we are able to successfully deploy the system or the upgrade to the system, and we have printed the first set of passports today.
ASP Purcell said they have plans going forward, which is to keep the 5-day extended period until they are able to work on the applications that were made earlier.
Going forward, we would want to keep the extended period of 5 days until we are able to resolve all of the backlog or those that have been waiting, because we have taken in a substantial amount of applications. So we'd want to knock them out. And then we'll come current again, where we'll be issuing in 3 business days, as we are accustomed to.
The Immigration and Passport Office, he says, will continue to provide exceptional service to the country and ensure a smooth flow during the process.
There is an additional security feature to the extended life of the passport, and also internally on the document itself, we have made some security changes too. We have not seen any foreseeable major challenges as it relates to our processes. Our internal processes remains very robust, mindful of security, and we want to assure the public that we'll continue to produce a very high quality passport for the state of Grenada, and we'll take all precautions to guarantee the safety of the Grenada passport.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much there, ASP Purcell, doing a fantastic job at the Immigration Department. And it's not surprising, because the Immigration Department, they have always led from the front when it comes to efficiency, when it comes to customer service, when it comes to production. They have always come in first. And that's really good, if you ask me. I want to say to the folks who have seen that release from GIS regarding the Premier or Prime Minister. Premier is really Prime Minister of the Cayman Islands, or the Premier of the Cayman Islands, coming to Grenada and intending to assist people who are affected by Hurricane Beryl in terms of their employment, and they would be given employment in Cayman Islands and so on and so forth. GIS has since retracted that publication, that release. It was a miscommunication on the part of GIS. So if you've seen that release, I mean, they have since taken it down, but people would have, right? They copied it, they saved it So folks saved it and that kind of thing. So it's still in circulation, just saying it was a miscommunication. And those things do happen in media. Those things do happen when you're involved in radio, TV, print, like newspaper and so on. So it's not the first time, and it will not be the last. So again, it was a miscommunication. So if you intended to send your CV and so on to that email address, don't do that. All right? It was a miscommunication. All right. So let me just play a last piece here, because I think there are a lot of positive things happening, and it's so good to highlight it, to talk about it, to showcase it. That's so important. Last night, the Honorable Tevin Andrews gave us a little update on what was going on there.
Guys, we have the cleanup crew in progress in the town of Hillsborough. And in the back there, if you look, you will see a light, street light is on. Grenlec team is there working. So kudos to the Grenlec team as well. So, work in progress. The guys are doing an excellent job cleaning up the town of Hillsborough. Remember, weekend, tomorrow, MIT team will be coming up and we're doing an island-wide cleanup. So the work has started. Thanks to all the volunteers. All hands on deck. We're going to rebuild, we're going to rise better, stronger, and smarter.
Yes, so that's the Honorable Tevin Andrews, and he's doing a fantastic job out there in Carriacou and PT Martinique. I want to say this though. Do not believe the NNP and their supporters would just allow the government, the volunteers, and the people who, are on board to help the residents of Carriacou and PT Martinique, St. Patrick and St. Mark, that they're going to just allow them to just do those things without trying to create problems, in my belief. The NNP is known to be a lover of bacchanal, confusion, chaos, and be a spreader of misinformation. That's in my belief. They've always been at it. And when I say the NNP, I'm talking about the NNP surrogates, goons and zygotes and sycophants and supporters. They would spread false information. They would publish all kinds of stuff. They would create confusion. And do not believe for a moment that because it's a disaster, because this thing occurred, that they would come together, they're going to work together, they're going to support the efforts of NADMA, the efforts of the government, the efforts of the different organizations and so on. No, they would not do that. They would seek to undermine. They would seek to cause chaos and confusion. That is what they are accustomed to. So it's not surprising. And look, I expect that. I told folks, give them a couple days and they would degenerate into the politicking, into the gutter, the gutter sniper politics, and try to bring politics into all of this. And only after 2 days, I think after 3 days, we saw the whole politics on display. And they are accustomed to that. They love that. So the NDC administration, the government, should never lose sight of that fact. Don't believe that they would stay on the high road. Don't believe that they would be joining in to clean up, to rebuild, to fix things. They're accustomed to tearing down. They're accustomed to undermining. They're accustomed to causing problems. So yes, you want this thing to be independent of politics, but we are seeing on display this bad conduct. They cannot change, and they would never change. All right? So I see some people in government who believe that these people are going to change. and the rhetoric going to change, and the way they see things going to change, and they're going to conduct themselves in a better way when it comes to joining in, uniting, fixing. No, they would go on their platforms and they would tell people that they're uniting and they're teaming up and they're working together and it's time for that and so on. That's the rhetoric. But when you look at the action, totally opposite to the rhetoric, to what they're saying, because it's all about making political mileage out of this disaster for the NNP surrogates and pundits and goons and zygotes and sycophants. That is how they operate. That's how they do things. They're all about seeking to exploit these kind of situations. So do not expect differently from them. Something different, some different position. No, don't expect that. They would condemn, they would criticize, they would stand in the way of the relief effort, they would stand in the way of the rebuilding effort. That is what they do. Because they think by doing this, they would get back into power. Just check it out and you would realize what is going down. All right? Let me just answer this. I need to take this call here, and then I have my daughter giving so much problems there.
Remember, the key to success is working hard. For our country, we must have regard. Forget all your differences, let we start to build. And onward to progress we surely will. Because now, more than ever, we must show discipline, tolerance, and production to build a strong and better nation. I say that is the main foundation. So come let us work hand in hand, because this is our land. Come my brother, come my sister, and let us build a nation together. So much of things that we need to see about. Surely I do have to spell them out. Cause you know as well as I do, the only way is put in more effort and less play. Because now, more than ever, we must show discipline, tolerance, and production to build a strong and better nation. I say that is the main foundation. So come let us go hand in hand, because this is our land. Come my brother, come my sister, and let us build a nation together. This also goes for every Trinbagonian who want to live in a foreign land. Now is the time to come home and do something, instead of staying out there and freezing. Because now, more than ever, we must show discipline, tolerance, and production to build a strong and better nation.
Right, so Zilli and Zoe is here. All right, so just saying, folks, you have to understand what we are dealing with. before this disaster, the NNP surrogates, goons, pundits, supporters, advocates, all of them, they were negative, right? And they continue to be negative. They were negative, good things were happening, good things continue to happen, and they would still be negative. That would not change. And now they become even more desperate. So they are trying their best to derail the relief and the recovery and the rebuilding and the everything. They want this thing to be messy. If you listen to their podcast, all you have to do is to listen to their podcast, and they're all reading from the same hymn sheet. Every one of them reading from the same hymn sheet, asking the same questions, attacking the same people within government and so on. So I am saying, do not be naive to think that they're all on board now and they're going to unite. They're going to team up for the better good of St. Patrick, St. Mark, and Carriacou, and P.T. Martinique. No, no. They're all about votes. They want votes. That's all they want. Just check it out. That's all they are interested in. And they will do everything in their power to derail what is happening. And they feel left out. They see regional and international partners are coming to the aid and the people of can it's not things no, they would pretend they are not genuine. They are not sincere in the process. So it's something you have to be cognizant of. And it will happen as we move forward. They would seek to do all kinds of stuff. Misinform people, derail the process, say all manner of things, criticize, condemn, tear down, break down. That's what they want. They want to see that because they have always benefited from chaos and confusion. They've always benefited from infighting. They've always benefited from rumor mongering and gossip. They've always benefited from industrial unrest. They've always benefited from problems within the society. They've always benefited from poor and vulnerable, right? Being poor and being vulnerable. So they've always benefited from that. That's how they always get to come back into power, right? So they're trying the same thing again. So they're saying one on radio and on TV, on their platforms and so on, but they're doing the total opposite. It took them 10 days to actually decide to do something. 10 days, you know. And you ask them, have they actually did anything significant regarding these toilets, portable toilets, or the hot meal? A big joke, a big bluff. They're doing all of this as a bluff. They don't want to see a smooth recovery. They don't want to see that because it's not them. They are not in power. It's not them doing it. They feel left out. And that is what is hurtful in all of this. It's painful to them. And they're rolling that out into the society. The hate, the bitterness. All they do is complain, grind and groan. All they do is to try to undermine, try to sabotage, try to do all kinds of nasty things to with the hope of hurting the government, but it would be hurting the people. They're not genuine partners in this, no. Nope. All they do on their programs is to create controversy, create problems. But I want to say to you, we have to remain focused, keep our eyes on the prize, understand that the recovery is long term. It is not just 3 months, 4 months from now. It will take some time. And we have to build back better than before, smarter than before. I want to wish you all the best. I have to wrap up a bit early, 5 minutes earlier today. You know, I have my 2 daughters there. And, you know, when you have them, they would be back and forth, crying, fighting, doing all kind of stuff. Those things do happen. You know, kind of tag off for gadgets, tag off for, you know, those things do happen. So I would wrap up 4 minutes before the end of the program this morning. I want to wish you all the best. Have a wonderful weekend. I will be back with you on Sunday from 1 to 2 in the p.m. to continue the dialogue, continue the conversation. All right? So take good care. Bye for now. Peace and love. We have a lot to accomplish together. Right? We have a lot to accomplish together. Take good care and bye for now.